All right, let's talk about everybody's favorite play, the tush push. Now, it doesn't really matter where you fall on whether or not this is a football play or a play that requires skill to execute it properly, because that's what the majority of the argument was that the Philadelphia Eagles were presenting at the owners' meeting in order to prevent the league from banning it, that this is a play that involves skill, it's a football play, and that they just have the personnel to do it better than other teams. They practice it, and it shouldn't be banned as a result of that. And so enough teams voted in favor of keeping the play to prevent the league from banning it. Despite the fact that the vast majority did want to ban it, they got the required votes. So it's here for 2025. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it stays at 2025 with all the clear violations that it appears we're seeing on video. I mean, every single time that they do one of the bird's eye shots, it definitely looks like, now it's debatable, but it looks like guys are lined up in the neutral zone. The center is well over the football. The guards are further ahead than they need to be. There's even at times the defense is lined up in the neutral zone as well, trying to mimic and get the same advantage that the offense has. That's even before the ball is snapped. Now, things like that, the league says, and I've heard some referee analysts say that everything just happens so quickly that it's hard to throw a flag because like everything is just, it's just such small space, you can't see anything, it just happens quickly. But pre-snap, the guys are sitting there for at least a second. You can see what's happening pre-snap. If you care to look and you care to focus, you'll see if anybody is lined up incorrectly pre-snap and throw the appropriate flag. Now, once the ball is snapped, or should I say even before the ball is snapped, that's where some of the above view camera angles as well as the sideline view angles come into play, where it certainly looks like there are false starts by the guards. At times it's both guards, other times it's one guard, sometimes maybe there's nobody false starting. But it looked like in that last game against the Chiefs that multiple times guards were false starting. That's where it's very difficult for the ref to see, or the side judges to see exactly what's going on in real speed. That's part of the advantage. It's not just that you've got this unique formation that you're using, and it's not just that you've got guys that are stronger than others, or that you practice it so much that you're really good at it. The question is, should the play be illegal, or should the fact that you are committing penalties be illegal? Like, the play can be legal as long as you don't line up in the neutral zone, as long as the center is not holding the ball where he shouldn't be, and as long as you don't have guys off false starting. But I can assure you that the more this is happening, and we're seeing it on TV, and this is the whole instant replay debate and everything that like the league doesn't like happening. If you've got 20 guys at the bar and they're watching TV and 19 of them think it's a catch, then chances are it should maybe be a catch. The league is seeing everybody react to the fact that there's clear false starts and there's clear issues with this play that are hard to regulate in real time. So will the league ask their refs to start coming out and paying closer attention to those violations, throwing flags during the game, because the Eagles rarely get penalized on that play? Defenses get penalized, jumping over the pile, doing all the types of things, trying to guess the snap count. We remember the NFC Championship game last year against the Commanders. We also saw a penalty against the Chiefs in the game for lining up offsides. So there are things that the defense typically does. The Eagles rarely get penalties here. So will the league ask them to do that more? If not, there's not going to be any issues with the Eagles continuing to run it the same exact way the rest of the year and gaining the same exact advantage. But can you imagine if the league comes in and throws a penalty because the guards lined up where they weren't supposed to line up? And as a result, instead of 3rd and 1, it's now 3rd and 6. And then the Eagles are passing the football, and then it's incomplete, and they don't go for it on 4th down. So this could be a massive swing in terms of the Eagles' ability to execute this flawlessly and win games if the league just comes in and starts enforcing the rules that are already there, and they start doing it now as opposed to waiting until next season to do it. We don't know if that's going to happen or not, but it certainly would be within the NFL's guidelines to try to ensure that this doesn't happen again, where you have a big game that's in a prime TV viewing spot where it certainly looks like there's issues with the play, be it offsides, false start, lined up in the neutral zone, all the different types of seemingly penalties that are happening by both teams on this particular play multiple times throughout the game. And if you ask, like, the Eagles fans might say, well, why are you focusing so much on us? If you slowed down every play, you would see things like that. And that very well might be a good argument. The issue is everybody is lined up in a phone booth on this play. So where do you want the cameras to go? The cameras are zoomed in right there because everything is happening and everybody knows what you're going to be doing with the ball when you snap it. 95% of the time, you're just tush pushing Jalen Hurts forward. So the cameras are zoomed in there. They're going to show instant replays of it. That's just what's going to happen when you're running a play like this. And it's big moments in the game. Third downs, fourth downs, like that's what's going to get the most scrutiny in the replays. So it's kind of brought on themselves that this is probably going to happen. But if the league continues to see the seeming outrage from the public, or they were talking about on the broadcast and the ref analyst was saying he's over the tush push, like, we'll see how this gets officiated moving forward, but it will be interesting to track for sure.